Hello everyone and welcome back to the Nexus. Today we have yet another special Jump to Lightspeed video, a first look to the brand new Sportlight Decks. So before we jump into it, a big thank you to FFG and Asmodee for sending them to us. And if you haven't seen it yet, they also send us a box. So go check out the video, it's going to be in the description or comment. And check out what we have found. But today we have these brand new Sportlight decks, which is a great way to get used to some of the new mechanics that we're going to see together, as well as start playing the game. So if you are new to Star Wars Unlimited, first of all, welcome. And this is the best time to start this game. Right now we have these brand new Sportlight decks. Let's start with the Boba Fett. So we have Boba Fett and Han Solo. What we're going to do, we're going to go through the deck, the key cards, and we're going to look at the leader. And then we're going to look at the included Jump to Lightspeed booster packs. So you're able to pick up the deck and already start powering it up with some of the cards that you might find in the pack. So each Sportlight decks comes with 50 card fixed deck, one base card, one leader card. We have 3 double-sided token cards. We'll see what they are. And then we have 31 counters for damage and 1 booster pack. So let's start with Boba Fett and let's have a look at the leader first, because this leader kind of mentions and includes both of the 2 new mechanics. So as I mentioned, we have the tokens or the damage indicators. We have the pack. We're going to open the pack at the end. And then we have the deck. So I believe I opened it the wrong way around as per. So I'm just going to do this off camera. Just open it up. And here is the deck. So let's go and have a look. As I mentioned, Boba includes 2 of the new mechanics. So let's start by looking at the leader, shall we? So the leader is red, so aggression, villainy, Boba Fett, any methods necessary. So the non-deployed side says when you deal non-combat damage. What is non-combat damage? This can be any damage from a different card, an effect, or indirect damage, what we'll talk about. You may exhaust this leader if you do deal 1 indirect damage to a player. This is one of the 2 new mechanics that I was mentioning. So indirect damage says here, that player assigns 1 unpreventable damage amongst their base and units. So when you deal indirect damage to a player, they choose where this indirect damage goes amongst their units and the base, and is unpreventable, which means that it goes around shields. So really, really interesting. And then we have the epic action. So we're used to see leaders deploy to a certain point of the game. Here it says at 6 resources, we can either deploy this as a leader or, and here's the new mechanic, we can deploy this leader as an upgrade on a friendly vehicle without a pilot on it. So Boba Fett can either become a unit on ground, which is a 4/7, or we can deploy it as a pilot, which is an upgrade to one of our vehicle that doesn't have a pilot yet. And when deployed as an upgrade, deal up to 4 damage divided as you choose amongst any number of units, and it gives +4/+4. The attached unit is also a leader unit, so it prevents certain removal cards that cannot target leaders. So really interesting. So this Sportlight deck is aggression and cunning, and we have the token, double-sided, experience, and shield. Let's have a quick look at some of the cards. So we're going to see some of key themes like deal indirect damage to a player. So you can see the synergy of dealing indirect damage, which is not combat damage. So then we can tap our Boba Fett and deal more damage. And we have some cards that we already seen in previous expansion, like the First Legion Snowtrooper. And this deck essentially allows us to go both in space and in ground. And let's have a look at a couple of the cards. Another card that we're familiar with, Fifth Brother. TIE Bomber is a new Imperial Vehicle Fighter, 2 cost 0/4. On attack, deal 3 indirect damage to the defending player. So again, if we attack with TIE Bomber and we deal indirect damage, we can exhaust Boba Fett and activate the effect. If we have 6 or more resources, then the piloting that I was mentioning, we can deploy Boba on a vehicle, and it will give it +4/+4 and deal up to 4 damage divided as you choose amongst number of units. So very, very interesting. I think personally this deck is my favorite. I know Josh loves Han, so we're gonna have a face-off with these two Spotlight decks, so stay tuned. Another kind of MVP from last set, Elite P-38 Starfighter. Houndstooth is a 3 cost 4/3. While attacking an exhausted unit that didn't enter play this phase, this unit deals combat damage before the defender. So kind of like a shoot first. We have a new Bosk unit. Love me some Bosk. 4 cost 4/4. So just like the Boba Fett leader, this unit can be played either as a ground unit, paying 4, and enters as a 4/4, saying on attack, exhaust the defender and deal 1 damage to it. Or you can see the piloting cost is 2 with Cunning and Villainy, and it says attach unit gains on attack, exhaust the defender, and deal 1 damage to it if it's a unit. So very, very interesting interaction from Bosk, which also synergize with our leader. So we have 3 Bosk. We have Dengar, yet another bounty hunter, villainy aggression, and again 4 cost, enters as a 5/4 as a unit with no, essentially no effect. But if we pay 2 and we set it as a pilot, the attached unit gains on attack, deal 2 indirect damage to a player. If a unit is an underworld unit, deal 3 indirect damage instead. So I'm expecting that we will see some underworld units like the brand new Fett Fire Spray. Look at this, 4 cost 4/4 underworld vehicle, which is a requirement to attach a pilot. Transport, which is also relevant for other cards. When played in on attack, deal 1 indirect damage to a player. If you control Boba Fett, either as a unit, upgrade, or leader, deal 2 indirect damage instead. So big synergy plays. We see a lot of spaceships, some old friends, Imperial Interceptor. I think IG-2000 is very interesting. Another underworld vehicle. Overwhelm, when played, deal 1 damage to up to 3 units. Wow. So very, very relevant. We have a new IG-88 unit, 5 cost 4/5. If deployed on ground, gets +3/+0 if there's an enemy unit that is damaged. Or it can pilot for 2, give it +0/+3, and attach unit gains the same effect while an enemy unit is damaged, gets +3/+0. We have good old Fett's Fire Spray and a new Boba Fett unit that comes shielded as a 5/4 if we play on ground for 5 cost, or we can deploy it as a pilot or play as a pilot for 2. When played as an upgrade, you may deal 1 damage to a unit. If attached unit is a transport, you deal 2 damage instead. We get a good Daring Raid, 2 damage. We have a new Electromagnetic Pulse. I think this card is great. We can deal 2 damage to a droid or a vehicle and exhaust it. more damage that is not combat damage. So we can synergize with Boba. No Good to Me Dad, Good Exhaust, Force Choke, yet another damage. No Disintegration, which allows us to deal damage to a non-leader unit equal to 1 less than its remaining HP. What does this mean? We deal the damage, they stay at 1 HP, we can deal 1 HP. Obviously, this is indirect, so they choose, but you can see there's so many ways to deal damage with this deck. So if you're all about dealing damage, going all out in space, adding your pilots, Boba Fett is your leader. Let's have a quick look at the pack that comes with the Spotlight deck. So as I said, you know, if you're new to the game, this is a perfect way to start. If you're already playing, this is also a great way to pick up some new leaders and a new pack. So let's quickly go through it. Let's see. I can already see some cards that are in the deck that also could be interesting to add to our deck. And let's see if we find a... Oh my. We found a Annihilator. So speaking of spaceships, so this is a new legendary. Again, no spoilers, I guess, but go check out the box opening. And this is a brand new ship, capital ship. So, wow, what a pack, actually. This is fantastic. I mean, finding a legendary in one of these packs, that's amazing. But let's move on to our second Spotlight deck, which is Han Solo. So Han Solo, we'll see, also deploys as a pilot. We'll see what effects it brings in for us. Okay, I can see that they made it very simple to open, and I'm just making my life so much harder. Like, it's so easy. I don't know why I tried to open it that way, but nonetheless, oh, it's good. We have our extra pack with... Is this a Millennium Falcon? I think this is maybe the gold leader. Comment in the chat, let me know if I'm wrong. But let's have a look at our Han Solo deck. Let's do the same. We're gonna have a look at the leader and then talk about the key cards. So Han Solo, never tell me the odds. Very thematic. The leader action is reveal the top card of your deck, then attack with a unit. If the reveal card and that unit have different odd costs, that unit gets +1/+0 for this attack. So you will see the theme of this deck is odd cost. So cards that cost 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, maybe more. But that is the theme of this deck. And just like Boba, Han can deploy both as a leader unit or as a vehicle upgrade as a pilot. This time for a cost of 5, so it's odd cost. That's probably a reason. It can deploy on ground as a 3/7 or attached to a vehicle. The attached unit becomes a leader once again. If the leader attached to units, that unit is considered a leader unit. When deployed as an upgrade, for each friendly unit or upgrade that has an odd cost, ready a resource. So what does this mean? This means that on resource 5, we're able to deploy this on a vehicle, which in this deck is probably going to be a odd cost vehicle. And for that vehicle and other cards that cost that have an odd cost, we can ready our resource. So it's going to enable some explosive plays. So let's go have a look at what odd cost cards does Han Solo have other than our friendly tokens. So Clone Deserter, we have seen in Shadow of the Galaxy. Shout out Shadow of the Galaxy. Greedo, of course we have Greedo in a Han deck and is obviously a odd cost. We have some new pilots. We have Nien Nunb. We have R2. Let's have a look at R2. R2 is a 1 cost 1/4 ground unit that can also be deployed as a pilot for the cost of free. 0 heroism. This upgrade can be played on a friendly vehicle unit with a pilot on it. That's right. So one thing that I believe we mentioned, but just to clarify, you can only have one pilot on a vehicle unless otherwise stated on effect of a pilot or a card. So R2-D2 can deploy as a pilot in addition. And it says you may play or deploy one additional pilot on this unit. So amazing. Some other pilots, we are seeing the odd cost theme, the Carter Turncoat, 1 cost 2/3 with the bounty of drawing a card, Wolfpack Escort. To return, you may return a friendly non-leader, non-vehicle unit to its owner's end. There's a when play effect. So we're seeing quite a theme here, obviously on the odd cost, but also, yeah, some very well-known cards that have already performed a lot in this game, and some new one, Layla Organa, 3 cost, 3/4, restore 1. When played, you may attack with a pilot unit, or a unit with a pilot on it. Okay, it gets +1/+0, and it gains restore 1 for this attack. Ezra Bridger, we're familiar with it. Boshek, 3 cost, 3/4 with piloting 2. When played as an upgrade, discard 2 cards from your deck. Return each of those cards with odd cost to your hand. This is crazy. This reads, when played as an upgrade, draw 2 cards. We are not playing any even cost cards. So these are all essentially odd cost cards that we can draw with Boshek. There's 2 in here. I would probably play 3, but let's have a spotlight, part of the pun, on this new Millennium Falcon, which is perfect in this deck. Millennium Falcon, get out and push 3 cost, 3/4 Rebel Vehicle Transport. You may play or deploy 1 additional pilot on this unit. This unit gets +1/+0 for each pilot on it. So we have seen R2 allows to add an additional pilot, can already add to it. Each pilot adds +1/+0. And of course, we have a new Chewbacca unit, Faithful First Mate, 5 cost, 5/6 unit on ground that says this unit can't be defeated or returned to hand by enemy card abilities. And then we have a piloting for 3. Attached unit gains, this unit cannot be defeated or returned to hand by enemy card abilities. If you haven't got that idea yet, let me kind of like demonstrate to you what it can happen. And it shouldn't be any different, right? If we have our Millennium Falcon, we can add a Chewbacca unit on it on 5 resources. 5 is the same turn that we can deploy Han as an upgrade. We'll deploy Han as an upgrade, and then we already unlock 2 resources. And this vehicle, this big Millennium Falcon, will become a what? A 911? Wow. Okay, sure. Like, seems pretty good to me. We'll see how that goes. But this is Han Solo deck. Really, really cool interaction with the odd cost cards. Let's have a look at the pack that we get with the deck. Let's see if we can find something that will help us power up this deck. We have an Admiral Akbar. We have a barrel roll. Okay, so barrel roll is in cunning in the same color. Attack with a space unit. After completing this attack, you may exhaust the space unit. So you can see how already with one pack, we can find some nice tech that can help us. Really nice units. Wow, we found a Mandalorian hyperspace, and another legendary. Wow. And this is going to be Josh's legendary. So this is Starhawk. This is the first time I see this. It's New Republic vehicle capital ship with ambush. While paying costs, you pay half as many resources rounded up. Wow. Okay, sure. And guess in which deck it fits. Guess which color they are, and it's an odd cost as well. I mean, this is fantastic. Like, if you open the deck with this pack, is just perfect. But here we are, guys. We have had a first look at our brand new Spotlight decks with Boba Fett and Han Solo. Let us know what you think about these decks. Do you think Han is better? Do you think Boba is better? Is Boba gonna be just as good as he used to be as a cunning leader? Let us know what you think. Thanks again for watching. We're gonna be back with some great Jump to Lightspeed gameplay. But until then, take care and we'll see you soon. Bye.